going on, guys? Ultimus here, bringing you another 3v3 match with some commentary. As you can see, same comp, KFC, same team. This is just the second half of the videos. Right off the bat, because we are up against another rogue mage combo, this time with a frost mage, definitely wanted to swap over to that mass spell reflect right off the bat before the match started. And as you can see, I am just getting unloaded on. That is the downside to being the warrior in a KFC comp, especially when you're playing with a druid, because I'm the only one that is not stealth. So I am the easy target, and if I was smart, I would have actually started that fight off in defensive stance. I'm pretty sure I missed that. Luckily, my druid is pro and kept me up through that burst. Our big goal right here, I want to sit on that rogue. I want to sit on that rogue as hard as I can, see if I can keep an eye on those polys. Good cleave damage here. Luckily, they were silly enough to kind of stand in one spot, so I was able to get that Blade Storm and Whirlwind damage off. My biggest mistake in this fight, I can say, is standing in that smoke bomb as long as I did. I should have moved. I didn't, which probably caused a little bit of trouble for my healer, but luckily we were able to put enough pressure on them to where they cracked, and we were able to land the kill on that rogue as well as the mage really quickly. Disciplined priests have a really hard time with trying to mitigate that spread cleave pressure, so I think overall our count had the comp advantage in this case since they were playing with a priest. If they were playing with a druid, that might have been a very different story. On this map, we come up against an affliction lock and a subtlety rogue mixed with a druid. I believe this is actually a legitimate comp. I'm just forgetting the name of it. Either way, it's terrifying. I didn't jump in after that gate, maybe like I should have. I find that I just don't interrupt them, or I can't get over there quick enough to get that gate interrupted, especially on my warrior. My DK I can, since the range on Death Grip is longer than charge, but I just don't like rushing over there and trying to interrupt it. I don't really like putting myself on the other side of the map, especially with that sarcophagus there in the center, really limiting line of sight for my healer. So we've agreed to go sit on the Warlock in this match, and this match definitely lasted a lot longer than the previous match, which in turn is kind of a good thing, I think, just because it's, you know, good for practice, and you're not always going to run into an arena and just ruffle stomp the enemy and your competition. So it's good to have, I think, these longer matches that definitely test your wits and your patience, as well as your cooldown timing as well. Already, unfortunately, I did feel the need to pop die by the sword. I was just getting hammered into, and maybe that was a panic cast. I'm not entirely sure. Probably could have held off on it. But just trying to sit on this Warlock still without paying too much attention to the rogue. Now this time I did learn from my mistake, and instead of sitting in that root in the smoke bomb, I decided to trinket that and bust out of there because I didn't want to make it to where my healer could have healed me, or else that might have been GG. Still keeping an eye on that Resto Shaman. I don't know why he's not on focus. Probably just a noob mistake right now on my part. But this block is definitely proving to be a little bit trickier to stay on top of between those portals. But I am liking that my hunter is Beast Mastery spec, making it really easy to keep that cleave pressure going between pets all over the place. We're making this druid work to keep his teammates alive, and I think that's really the most important thing there. Typically, I prefer saving my storm bolts for healers and lining up those possible kill setups, especially off of hunter traps, but in this particular case, I decided to use it there for trying to keep the lock from running away. Right now, we're in a pretty good spot, too, as I feel like the rogue has used up most of his cooldowns. The druid still has quite a few, which is okay, but the rogue pretty much has nothing left except for Cloak of Shadows, and now he's got some other ones coming up, so... which is interesting that the rogue is used so much already, because we really haven't been putting too much pressure on the rogue aside from cleave pressure. So I'm feeling at this point that we're kind of playing ahead and they're needing to catch up, though things do take a slight turn for the worse in our case here in a little bit as they start putting the pressure on us and then things get a little bit scary. I'm feeling the need to swap over to defensive stance here for a bit while my healer is garroted, and then just spamming the butts off of spell absorb, or shield absorption I should say. That lock dip's definitely pretty low there, and I thought we were able to nab the kill, but he was able to get away. And I think that's the one thing that I'm still struggling with as an arena warrior, because I know my biggest job is to sit on targets and just put the pressure on. And I love it when I have a healer that is able to play and kind of keep up with that aggressive mindset. But sometimes I need to know when to swap and lay off, and I can definitely put my healers in tough spots. So I'm still learning the balance between that. As you can see, I dipped super low for a second there. Healer is able to keep me up, and this is where things get really scary, really close, because I am just going, I've got Enrage regen up in a second, I'm at 3%, Healer goes, and we're able to set up that kill, switching over to defensive stance in the last split second there, and I'm able to get off that victory rush there to keep myself alive and again try to help my healer out a little bit. But that match, I felt we played very, very well, despite a couple of mishaps and my hunter getting a little bit of lag there. But we ended up pulling off the win, so that's what counts, I feel. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.